welcome to the Build Idaho podcast. We're excited to have you today, and I've got my co-host, as always, John Miniger.
Hello, everybody. Today is some exciting topics for you. We've actually got a person on the podcast today. The reason I'm excited, Trey. Everybody we interview are people that are not in my industry, really necessarily.
Right.
R.C. Willie, a mayor. I mean, I don't have a lot in common with them. But today we have Michelle Penick. Michelle Penick is one of the top producing agents in Idaho. And not only is she a top producing agent in Idaho, but she's with Build Idaho. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Yes, I've been with Build Idaho for 6 years now. Was one of the first agents to join the team.
Good job, Trey. Good job.
I was just a baby in real estate.
We have been through a lot together. So let's talk about the conversation. So you've been in the industry for over 6 years. Just curious, what's like the number one thing that you've learned?
The number one thing that I've learned?
Yeah.
Being a realtor?
Yeah.
That's a very general question.
Yes.
And I would say like the number one that just comes to my mind is mindset. I mean, that's like the number one thing that I've learned is to just to be positive. And what's interesting is I notice that whenever clients have a good mindset and they're very positive about the process, it typically turns into a really good experience.
For everybody.
For everybody. For example, I had this listing go live on Friday. Amazing couple, just super sweet and easygoing. We get a full price cash offer the next day. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. It's just your mindset. So how you feel like going into the buying or selling process is just to be positive and have a good mindset, and it's usually a great experience.
That's great advice, and it works
thing.
for life as well. Unbelievable.
Yes, it does. Yeah, people move. It's funny because people moving from out of state, a lot of them are moving to Idaho for a better life, and they want to leave. We won't say any names, but people in XYZ state, and then they come here. If they have a bad attitude, it's the same experience wherever you go. There you are.
Exactly.
So cool. There you go. I know it's not a lot about that's not really very real estate specific, but that's my answer.
Yeah. Let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about new construction, which you've done a lot of over the years. Everything. Big ones, little ones, tall ones. all of them.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about working with builders. Like, what should people know about choosing new construction?
What should they know about choosing new construction? Having a good relationship with the builder. So people want to work with someone that they know, like, and trust. And so before you get into that relationship, I mean, really it is, because you're going to be with them for 8 to 12 months. I mean, during the pandemic, it was taking, 16 months, sometimes, a couple years to build. So having someone that you can be patient with, that you just have good rapport. So it's good to interview a few builders. Now, a lot of times when you're going to these production builders, you're not actually going to be interviewing the builder. You're not going to be sitting down with them, but still, like, look at the reviews online, talk to other people, see what their experience is. But yeah, be with two to three different builders. Well, 3 different builders at least.
And one of the things we bring to the table in particular, all of us, is relationships with builders and having had clients go through them. I know you and I have had a client in particular that I told them, you're going to have a great house, communication is going to be terrible. And
yeah.
If you're okay with that, we'll move forward. And of course, when we moved forward, they decided communication was very important to them. And the home was ticking forever. So
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, some builders, like, they build a great end product. And so in that case, you'd be buying a spec home where everything is picked out as opposed to going through the whole build process. It's not for everybody. Sometimes, I personally wouldn't want to build my own house, try to pick out all the colors and matching things together. It's not, I'm working with someone where they're, drawing everything on a napkin, and they're just, they need help. They need someone to rein them in, to say, what are your goals? Yeah, more of a guide. So building is very different. There's, custom and semi-custom. Custom can be anywhere from where you draw something on a napkin and you're, very you're designing everything to a semi-custom where a builder has, several floor plans, and you're just going to pick those floor plans, and then maybe make some changes from there. And it's,
If if a builder is building just a home on spec, what does that mean?
that means that everything is already picked out. That means the colors, the finishes, your flooring, your lighting package, whether it's quartz, granite, everything has been picked out. They have designers in-house that are gonna, they're gonna pick out the most popular colors and put everything together, and then they'll just list it, as opposed to where you pick everything out. And
So would you call that more of a? I would call that more a move-in ready house.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a move-in ready house, all ready to go.
Brand new, move-in ready. Yeah, exactly.
So when a builder gets to the phase, let's say he's likes to list his houses when he's halfway done. He's halfway done with the house because he wants to make sure he gets, an offer or something like that. That can turn into maybe a semi-custom build. Is that correct?
Well, so sometimes, so if they list the home, some builders will say, we're, not that far in the process, that we'll make a few changes for you. Maybe we'll like put a handrail in, or, I don't know, for safety, or there's just sometimes some specific things people want,
Right.
like hardwood floor throughout because they have pets. Some builders will do that. A lot of them don't. And I know, and a lot of buyers always ask, well, it's not far along the process. Why can't we just change anything? It throws everything off for the builder. If they make
Their timelines.
Yes, and if they make those changes for you, like just a couple of things in your mind, they're trying to manage 30 different projects, and they have subcontractors that are just kind of on a machine, like an assembly line here, and it usually costs them more because just mistakes happen if they don't keep things streamlined.
Yeah,
right.
So it's just easier to do it after closing.
And I appreciate
Those
people don't
changes.
understand that, but one thing I have to tell people frequently is builders don't build homes.
They
Builders
manage people.
manage people, which is
Yeah.
why when you change things, the machine just just gets decluttered.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't do that. So, especially production builders, right? Like you cannot disrupt
Oh.
a production builder's systems. That's how they make money, is systems. Everything has to be clocked out, mapped out.
Process, go
Stay
figure.
in step, and they make money based on efficiencies, as opposed to semi-custom builders. Which, have you done more semi-custom? You do a lot of semi-custom stuff.
Most builders are really semi-custom. I've worked with some northern construction, trade winds, where it was very, where the person owned the lot, so they purchased the lot, and then they had a custom builder come in. So, I worked with
A little more organic.
Yeah, but I would say most are, semi-custom. It's just easier. And during the pandemic, nobody wanted to build. And so they just stopped, and it was like spec homes. They would build the homes, and then they would just list them on the MLS. They were going so quickly. There was material shortages, labor shortages.
Yeah.
People couldn't keep up. And so builders got a taste of what that was like to, you know what, this is easier. I'm just gonna list these homes. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want them telling me what to do or how to build a home. So it was just an easier process.
Yeah.
I've got a question. It's not off topic because everybody out there knows you want to know the answer to this question. How many miles a year does a top producing agent put on her car?
That's a great question.
I know. How many miles a year do you think you put on?
Let's see. I bought my car 4 years ago, and it had 3,000 miles, and it has about 60,000 now. So I don't know. You do the math.
So you are just driving around, and around. You talked to me today about having to go here, there, there. It's a lot of mileage.
Yeah. I put a lot of miles on the car, and yep, and it was a good thing. Someone actually pointed out to me that my front two tires were really bare, and I didn't even.
They're going bald.
They were going bald, and I didn't even know. And I thought, okay, I'll take it in, and I'll get the oil changed and rotate the tires. I bring it in that week, just a few days later. Mind you, had I not done that, had this person not told me anything, my tire pops as I get into the shop. It pops right there. So.
Well, I'm guessing you're a busy realtor, and your wires were showing.
Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to go back to the building because I realized we started to touch on something with the semi and custom builds. Folks when you're building, a lot of times you do have to purchase that lot. Like it gets a little confusing. People will say, well, I want to buy land. Well, when you're buying land, you typically have to put about 40% down. It's not like, or, it's conventional or it's cash. It's not as easy just to buy a piece of land and build as people think. I'm just going to come here and buy land. Well, a lot of the land is going to be on the outskirts. It's not in the center of town. You want an acre in Meridian? It doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry, you want certain schools and you want an acre, like that's just the way it is. And then you typically have to pay cash, or you have to have 40% down for that loan for the lot. So it's very different. I would say, like, give us a call so we can talk you through the process, because there's, some builders carry the construction loan, some want the buyers to carry the construction loan. And so it's a very different process, and it's important to have someone that is experienced and knows about building and can talk you through and has those relationships with builders, lenders that will do construction loans. Not all do. So I know I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I felt like it was important.
Here's a really tough question. Hey, Michelle, I'm going to go do it all on my own. I don't want to pay the fee. How do you respond to that?
That is a fantastic question. Well, you know what? A lot of builders, if you go to them directly, they're not going to give you a discount just because you're not represented.
Yeah.
And honestly, I heard it like this before. It's like going into a courtroom and asking for the other person's lawyer to represent you.
Yeah.
You want to have someone there by your side. And a lot of times it's not even, when things go smoothly, you think, why did I even have an agent? Well, there's a lot of stuff happening in the background to make it look smooth. It's like when you see a duck on the water and their feet are paddling like this, but all you see on the top is they're smooth and just gliding along, but you can't see all the work that's happening. There's a lot that we do between our experience to make the process smooth. And the commission, it's built into the price of the home most of the time. I mean, it's just...
I wish people could understand the duck analysis, because the years of experience,
right?
all the trials and tribulations that you've got underneath your belt that someone doesn't realize is invaluable. And I don't think people realize that the consequences sometimes can be very bad. I don't know how many times as a team we've had to go to the builder and say, we're not closing until you do this for the client. And we get to be the bad guy, which is fine. We don't mind.
Absolutely.
It's part of the job. But I don't think people understand that when things go bad, they get really bad and really expensive.
And you don't want that buyer going directly to the builder and, complaining, and because then it's going to tie things. It changes the relationship. Like, let us be that conduit for you to, make sure everything is smooth. Yeah.
When a buyer's coming to you from out of state, they're typically probably a little higher price point than the buyers that are right here locally. At least that's been my experience. How are you helping the people that live local that maybe just want to buy in Meridian at a certain price range, and they may be a first-time home buyer, maybe a second-time home buyer with the interest rates crept up a little bit? How's your loan officer helping your clients?
Well, not everyone coming from out of state has a higher price point. I just want to put that out there.
Fair.
And actually, a lot of them are wanting to sell high, and they want to buy at lower prices here, and their expectations are really high. Anyway, but that's here nor there. I do love working with first-time home buyers and local buyers. Like, the price point to me doesn't matter. It's about helping people, and I believe that's truly what we're about at Build Idaho is helping, whether it's a building lot or it's a penthouse downtown. One of the things that we're doing, I work with a local mortgage broker here who shops around different rates, so he finds the best rate as opposed to going directly to the bank. So he's helped me with a couple of my personal loans. And rate buydowns are really the way rate buydowns are the way people are going right now. It gets a little confusing.
I mean, there's so many, they need to talk to a lender, right?
Yeah, exactly, because you have permanent rate buydowns, 3-to-1, 2-to-1 buydowns. So it's really important to, understand the differences and the consequences just to give you an example, 3 to 1, your rate is going to gradually increase over 3 years. So you'll have a really low payment. It's helping people to get into an affordable payment today for the next year with the hopes that interest rates go down. But if you're risk reverse, then you can do a permanent rate buy down and just, and these concessions have to come from the sellers.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of rate buy down you're getting, but they have to come from the seller, and you can't just buy, you can't buy the heck out of your interest rate down. So there's it caps, there's rules.
Balances.
There's balance, so definitely talk to a local lender. I can get you set up with someone that I work with here. I have a few people. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a
And
great question.
you picked a beautiful area in town for yourself to live.
Yes,
Is that right?
I did.
Where did you end up picking for yourself, for your own home?
So I moved over to Harris Ranch a couple of years ago.
Harris Ranch?
Yes.
They allow dogs there.
They do allow dogs, and I have 2 little dogs that are like my family. So when I walk out of my house, to my right are the foothills, and I can go hiking just 5 minutes, and to the left of me is the Boise River and the Greenbelt, so I can just
Which
ride
you
my
love.
bike, which I love to walk along the Greenbelt and
People, ducks, the whole
people, ducks, yes.
So what is a top producing agent in Idaho? We have to put you on that list. You are. What is a top producing agent in Idaho? What do you eat for breakfast this morning?
Coffee and creamer.
That's the go-to.
You know,
You gotta get up and get out.
That's right. I'm more of a lunch dinner person.
Let's talk about some final things here. Michelle, what do you think makes for a great agent?
That's a great question, Trey.
What makes a great agent for a buyer?
Well, I'm going to go back to our first question, and it's mindset. That getting into real estate and the mindset, that is the biggest thing. So you have to have your goals. You're talking about what does it take to be a successful agent?
For
Okay.
sure.
All right. Well, I would say there's 3 things that I do every morning that are non-negotiables for me. I have my gratitude journal. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. I meditate. And I did say 3 things. I visualize. So there's, affirmations. That was what I was going to say. So gratitude journal, affirmations, and meditate. Those are my 3 things that I do.
Start the day off right, the day goes well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, exercise and diet is important too. But I would say just be grateful, be grounded, affirmations, get centered. I personally have a coach to help lift me up. I mean, I had one when I first got into real estate. Invest in yourself. And then just, it's about helping people. Numbers are great. Making money is great. But when you focus on, I'm going to help 40 buyers this year, that comes and that happens, as opposed to I'm going to make, $100,000. Think about how many families and people you're going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is a great way. John, close us down for the day. What have you learned?
Well, I tell you, I love sitting with someone that's a peer, someone that I can relate to and understand where she's coming from. I don't write in a journal. I try to have a positive mindset. But we want to thank you, Michelle, for being with us today. We know that you took time out of your busy day to do this. I'd like to thank Trey. I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining us today. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and share.
Thank you.